Welcome back to the Range Rover Sport Luxe Off-Road build series. Today we are going from silver to black. All right guys, so today we're gonna focus on basically kind of creating a black look around the entire vehicle. So in the last episode, I refinished the wheels in a matte black. Go check that video out if you want. I'll leave a link up here at the top. But in this video, we're going to basically finish the rest of the car for the most part, with the exception of one piece on the back, which I'll explain. But what I wanted to do is actually do this in one video, just to kind of highlight the fact that these Range Rovers, the Land Rovers, they're honestly pretty easy to do a lot of these upgrades to. As I mentioned in my last video with the Porsche stuff, for the 991 build, if you've been following that along, you know, I have like a whole video on just taillights or like just, you know, a spoiler or something. I mean, it's literally so detailed and meticulous, and each piece of that is sort of pretty complicated. With this car, honestly, it's pretty easy. I mean, I hate to say that for those who maybe struggle with these kinds of upgrades, but the point of this video is to hopefully show you and prove to you that it's that easy. So I'm gonna do literally everything from taillights to side vents, to side repeaters, to front grille, to badging, to you name it, all in one video. And I'm just gonna shoot it straight through. So without further ado, let me walk you through the parts we've got, again, kind of where I got them, and then we will get to work. And I anticipate this will take no more than, say, an hour or less, maybe 30 minutes. So let's get started. Okay guys, so just prepping a couple parts here for the Range Rover. I ordered everything that you're gonna see as part of the build from Powerful UK, awesome company. I'll leave a link to their website. They make tons and tons of accessories and parts for Land Rovers and Range Rovers, and the prices are really hard to beat. So there's a few that I need to prep. A lot of them, like some of the badging and these kinds of things, came in a satin black. The wheels are going to be in a satin black, and so I really want everything to be satin in terms of finish. There are a few parts that they had that I ordered for the build that come in a gloss black, so we're going to refinish those just to make sure everything's matching. So the first thing is these side vents. So these are a updated version of the side vent, and they do say Supercharged across the side, which is a cool look. Obviously I have a Supercharged Range Rover, so that's good. And then this is a new grille, and this is actually a 2010 aftermarket option that they make. So the 2010 has a different look. It's a little wider and not quite as tall, and so there is a retrofit for this. And then they make this 2010 grille in several different options. One happens to be the sort of HST, like Stormer type look, which I thought would look really cool. I very much like this honeycomb kind of weave. Got a new black and silver badge coming for that. And so we're gonna get these parts painted up, and the satin black's gonna be super simple. So literally all we're taking is a paint and primer in the satin black, and then we're gonna put a satin clear enamel over top just to make sure that it's protected against the elements. Super easy DIY to do. The other item we are gonna do, almost forgot, is this Supercharged badge. We're gonna replace the one in the back, which is currently silver and very faded. They did not actually have this in the black. They make it in the black, but it would have been gloss black anyway, so it doesn't matter. So we're going to refinish that as well. The rest of the stuff, like I said, came in satin black, and so when we do all the trim work, I will put all this together and see the final product. First coat on there, I will say this is pretty DIY. It's pretty simple. The few things, pretty much the only rule of thumb with this stuff is go slow. I know a lot of people with any kind of like rattle can type of finish, they're anxious to just blast it out. Do it slow, do multiple layers, and that goes for everything. That includes the clear enamel, kind of the clear coat. That will give you definitely the best finish. So you can see I've hit this already, and you can already see some of that gloss is going away, but we're gonna probably do 2 to 3 coats at least of the satin black, again with light finishes and full dry time in between. And then we're gonna come back and do probably 2 or 3 coats of that satin enamel. And I know that sounds like a lot, but if you want to get sort of professional results, do not rush this. You'll get runs, you'll get high spots where you get more paint versus less. Just trust me on this. Go slow, take your time. It's worth it. Sort of bringing this somewhere and spending a bunch of money on, you know, some cheap plastic parts that, you know, frankly, you can paint yourself. So we're going to let this dry, come back, give it a few more coats, then I'll show you guys the finished product. All right, guys, so here are the parts laid out. Let me just walk you through everything we got. So starting from the top, working our way down, up here we've got replacement taillights. These are the 2010 style, and the interior of these is a black housing. It does not have the orange turn signals, so this will give the car a more updated look. It's LED also, a blacked out look and a Euro look all at the same time. So then below that we've got this grille. So the grille is a 2010 style. This is a aftermarket grille that does fit the earlier model Range Rover Sport, so mine's a 2006. But gives it the 2010 look. Then of course we're going to put a new Land Rover badge, which is right there in black and silver in the front of that. And moving on to the side vents, These are matching side vents with that honeycomb look. They do say Supercharged across. That'll look really good on the sides. And then on the right side and left side, we've got mirror covers. So we've got chrome covers on the car now. Do not like that look, so we're gonna go to white to match the body color. And then everything you see here are various badges. So front and rear badges, a sport badge in the rear, the Supercharged badge for the rear, I believe that's the front, and then a new button for the trunk release, which is quite faded. And then these are our side repeaters, our side turn signals in a smoked color. So that's the overview of everything we got. Let's go ahead and get started with the install. We're gonna tackle the front grille first. So the first thing you wanna do, obviously, is pop the hood. All right, now in terms of removing this grille, this is pretty easy. There's gonna be tabs, 1, 2, 3, 4, all along here. All you're gonna do is basically depress those tabs and then pull the grille straight out with a little bit of force. Now, we don't have to be super worried about breaking this because we're gonna replace it anyway, but to the extent you wanna sell stuff aftermarket, I mean, I do a lot of that. I sell OEM parts, you know, this probably goes for, I don't know, 50 bucks. The new grille was 80. I mean, honestly, that's a $30 investment. So, you know, take it out carefully, take your time, but let's go ahead and get this out. All right, so now we'll go ahead and put the new grille in. You want to get the bottom tabs locked in first and then put in the top. All right, guys, simple as that. So that is the new grille. What we'll go ahead and do now is go ahead and put this badge on since we're up here. So here's our badge. Just give you a quick look at it. This is the black and silver version. They do make this and obviously the green version, which is classic, but for this build, obviously wanted to do black and silver. It comes with a self-adhesive, so you just peel this off and apply it right there. All right, guys, so that completes the front look. Definitely a nice upgrade, as you can see. Really sharp, goes well with the black. The next thing we're gonna need to do to complete this kind of front piece here is to take care of all the Land Rover lettering. Switch that out to matte black. All right, so I actually ordered a special kit, this piece right here, in addition to like a buffing pad that you just attach to your grill from Powerful UK for taking these letters off. I think it's gonna certainly help, makes life easier. It's like 10 bucks, so you know, I think well worth the investment. We're gonna use this tool that was supplied to pry off the Range Rover lettering, the silver. It's very worn, very faded, and then we'll buff it down, get rid of all the adhesive residue and all that kind of stuff, and then put the new lettering back on. Here's our attachment. Basically, it's a rubber disc that is attached to the end of any standard drill. The idea is that it gets off a lot of the residue from the old adhesive. Now, I'm actually going to leave just a tiny bit on because what I really want is a ghosted pattern, so I know exactly where to place the new black letters. Also, you can hear that clicking. So I've got this set to a pretty low setting just so that if it does meet a little bit too much resistance, it'll stop. You know, as opposed to cranking this up to, say, the drill setting, where if this really gets going, it could burn through the paint. The other thing I have going is that this is on number 1, so to the extent you have a speed selector on your drill, your driver, I would select the lowest speed just to be safe. All right, so I can say this thing works like a charm, so I'm definitely keeping this around, and I can think, again, of other debadging or rebadging projects where this would have been super handy. So again, 10 bucks or so, I think, 15 for a kit from Powerful UK, and this is a tool I definitely want to have. Now that we got that all cleaned up, I did come back over that with a towel, just make sure it's super dry. You can run an alcohol swab over that as well if you want to prep that way. Now we're going to apply these letters. So these are from Powerful UK. They make these in a bunch of finishes: gloss black, white, silver, chrome. This is the matte black, obviously, given the build here. We're going to take these out and start applying them. And again, I'm just using that ghosted pattern that I left on here, you know, kind of on purpose, just to give me a guide. Let's get started. What you want to do is you want to kind of put it on super soft, just get it just right before you press down. The adhesive is kind of a one and done. Put them on very, very light, just kind of get them sticky enough to position, and then push them down once you're happy. So definitely liking how this turned out. That is the look right there. Again, just that black and white Stormtrooper, let's call it. But yeah, these matte black letters, you know, really, really pop off the white. And this new grille gives this whole car a much newer look. I mean, just a ton of life. Really, really digging that. All right, guys, so that concludes the work on the front. So next we're gonna make our way to the sides, do the side vents and the side turn signal. All right, guys, so next up is replacing these side grills. You know, these are silver, A, so we wanna replace the color, but B, they are an older style with the two fins, so we're going to what people call the 2010 look, the facelift look, with just a single bar. So these pop out purely just by pulling them. Again, like the grill, okay to give it a little force, you know, given that you're getting rid of these or selling them or whatever you're doing. So let's pull these out and put the new ones in. All right, guys, so now to install this new one. So there are tabs here at the top. So you're actually gonna lock these tabs in at the top first, and then these bottom tabs will click into place. There we go, that easy. Go and tackle this mirror. Like I said in the overview video, the chrome, not my deal. I'm gonna pop this off and put the new white covers on. Now you're gonna have to use a little bit of force. These have been sitting in the sun for who knows how long. The adhesive or whatever was used to attach these is on there pretty strong. And you wanna be really careful when you're prying this apart that you don't damage in any way the plastic component behind this, which is part of the mirror cover housing. There we go. So we'll get all this adhesive off and then we'll put the new one on. This comes pre-fitted with some adhesive strips itself. They also send you a whole roll of extra if it doesn't stick. So we'll peel these off and just slip it right over. So I want to make sure I get this all the way towards the back of the car so it's super tight before I press that adhesive down. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do is change out the side turn signals. They are currently orange, that is stock. Most people switch these out to something either clear or whatever. I'm gonna go smoked, obviously, given this build. These pop out super easy. Once you get that little clip kind of loose, then you can pull the whole assembly out, unscrew the wiring harness, and then we'll pop in the new one, which does come with new amber bulb. When you turn, it'll be orange, but when it's off, it'll be smoked. So there we go, that just pops out like that. Give this little disconnect there, and we'll go and swap this out. Definitely want to make sure this doesn't fall back inside the car, otherwise you're gonna have to take the door apart to go get it. Okay, there we go. So that's in and is a much better, more upgraded look. All right, guys, so there's the final product. Just to give you an idea of what the mirror, the side marker, and that looked like together. Super happy with that. Definitely an upgraded look. Definitely fits the build. Really just overall much better specs. So we will now work our way to the back. I think next up we will tackle the taillights. So next up is taillights. This one is super simple. Basically there are two Phillips head screws right here where the taillight meets the outer opening of the trunk. You're gonna unscrew those, pull out the old taillight, switch all the wiring harnesses and bulbs into the new taillight and pop it back in. Since this thing is full LED, you basically are going to take all that out and it's just going to plug in right here. So that is a really great look. Talk about an upgrade. Just makes the car look new. Love the black housing, the inside of that. Obviously the LED is going to be a nice touch, and so we'll give this a test just to make sure it's good, and then we'll swap over to the other side. The last item we're going to tackle, at least today, is the rear badging. So I'm going to replace over here on the left the Land Rover badge, again with a black and silver. It's going to match the front. Over here on the right, we're going to replace the Sport and Supercharged. Those are silver, they're faded. We're going to replace this button down below. That's the trunk release. That tends to fade very easily on these cars. The one thing we're not going to do is actually this lower bar that is currently gray. I'm going to paint that white. I've got paint from Touch Up Direct. We're going to paint that to match the body color. I think that's going to give it a nice modern look and just like a very clean kind of top to bottom. That way the only thing that really breaks this up is, you know, this guard across the bumper there for cargo and whatnot. And then we're going to put that matte black lettering on. But in the meantime, let's get the rear badging changed out. Okay guys, so that does it for today's project. It took, honestly, including the filming and everything, maybe an hour. So super easy upgrades to do to your Range Rover Sport, your Land Rover, whether it's LR3, LR4, or Discovery 3, Discovery 4, whatever kind of Rover Land Rover you've got. If it's kind of that 2000, let's say 2014, 13, these are really easy upgrades to make the car look very new, very modern. So very happy with these. Again, huge shout out to Powerful UK. Thank you for putting your website together. Thank you for putting all the videos together. This makes it super easy for do-it-yourselfers like me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Range Rover Sport build. If you did, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Also got the Porsche 991 build going, just wrapping up some of that. And so there's a bunch of future episodes coming out for that. So stay tuned for that and subscribe to the channel. Also, give me a follow on Instagram. Handle there is @911South. If you like Porsche content, Range Rover content, really just car culture, especially like the people aspect of that. So a lot of community stuff, a lot of drives, a lot of get-togethers and things like that. So I will get the back of this painted out. We'll put the lettering on that, and then I'm also going to install a roof rack, and I'll talk to you about how to retrofit that if you don't have the factory rails, which I do not, and how to get that on installed, and that'll pretty much wrap up this build. So that's coming up in the next episode. Stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching this one.